Over the past few months, I've been working on creating my own designer art toys, and in this video, I am going to show you the process of creating designer toys at home. Let's go! Designer toys, also called art toys, are novelty toys and collectibles created by independent artists and designers, which they usually produce in limited editions. Shout out to Wikipedia for that definition. I've been collecting designer toys for years. I really like them, so I wanted to try making my own. So the first thing I did was take a pencil and some paper and start sketching out ideas. Originally, I wanted it to be like a bonsai tree, and then it transitioned to a bonsai with half of it as a skull, and then to just kind of the skull boy thing. After I had a solid concept that I was happy with, I started the long process of sculpting. I don't really know what kind of clay I used for this. I think it was like the oven bake sculpty kind of stuff. So yeah, I just sculpted out my design meticulously. It took a few weeks. This was definitely the longest and most tedious part, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I sculpted the main body of the character as a separate piece from the hat. Because the hat has such a thin brim, it would be almost impossible to remove it from a mold, so I needed to make two molds for the hat and the body. Once I finished sculpting the piece, I threw it in the oven to harden it. Once the piece was hardened up, I hit it with some spray paint to try to smooth out any cracks or imperfections that were in it. And from there, it was time to start casting. I built a foam core box without the top and glued the bottom of my figure into the box. I made the foam core boxes way too big for my figures, so there was way too much silicone and way more than needed. So when I was pouring it, I ran out. So this delayed me like a week because I had to order more silicone, and it was pretty expensive. Once the silicone had hardened in the boxes overnight, I peeled off the soft foam core to expose the silicone cube kind of thing. From there, I cut a slit in the cube to try to get out my original figure. Sadly, it broke, but I guess that's okay because the mold still formed pretty well. What I should have done here is just cut the mold entirely in half. That would have made it a lot easier in the long run. I lined up the hat mold so that I could just take the hat right off the top, so I didn't need to cut that one. My art teacher had this plaster stuff that she recommended, so that actually turned out to work really well. So the plaster comes in this powder form, and what you do is you mix in enough water so it's like a maple syrup kind of consistency, and then pour that into the mold, let it cure overnight, and then you can separate the mold and take out your cast. Once I had a good plaster figure, I glued on the hat, and then it was time for painting. I painted mine primarily with spray paint, but I also used a little bit of brush paint. I've been experimenting with different color schemes and painting styles, so if you have any good ideas for color schemes, let me know in the comments. That would be very much appreciated. The great thing about this casting method is you can mass produce these and basically make as many as you want until your mold falls apart. Overall, I am super happy with how these ones turned out. I'm planning to make a lot more of them and maybe potentially sell them on my online shop. But yeah, check out the ones I've made so far. That concludes this week's video. This was a super fun project experimenting with something new. I plan to make a lot more of these, so if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing with these designer toys, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Creativity Weekly, and if you want to support my YouTube channel, click the subscribe button and the little bell button so you don't miss a video. Thank you for watching. See you next week. Goodbye.
For?
YouTube, like my YouTube channel.
Oh, you're filming for yourself?
Yeah.
And this is your backdrop?
Yeah.
Cool. Hope you make it really big.
Thank you, me too.